Welcome to Multidimensional Teachings of Higher Consciousness. My name is Galactic Grandmother April, and I'm here with Jemaa Sonciré.
Yeah.
And we did a part one, which I will link under this video, about the physical preparations of how to embody more of your own higher consciousness. And today we're talking about something that may run simultaneous to your physical preparations, and that is the emotional and mental energies, negative energies, which may be from emotional wounds, traumas, family baggage, bad attitudes, outdated beliefs. These negative energies can even be attached to us through our DNA lineage. And these are things that both Jemaa and I work with clients to heal and to release because we literally carry these energies in our physical cells. And the more that we can heal and release, the more of our own higher consciousness that we can embody. And so it's a very important topic today. And Jemaa, would you like to start out?
Yes, hello. Yeah, this is, of course, my favorite subject of body ailments because of physical, mental energies, emotions. And I may have said it in the last video, but when I first got introduced to that concept, Louise Hay, she has a book, Heal Your Body A through Z, The Mental Causes of Physical Ailments. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. So for the past 20 years, I've just been studying energy healing, how thoughts and, like you said, old patterns, old looping, childhood trauma, past life trauma, lineage trauma. And it could just be, it doesn't even have to be a huge trauma. It could just be not feeling good enough because someone said something negative that
Mhm.
wasn't loving, but then others, there are major traumas. It's still all the same. So even if
Right.
you were affected by a harsh word or physically abused, it's still the work that needs to get done to us align with our higher self. Yeah, go ahead.
Commonly referred to as shadow work, because
Yeah.
very often we have reactions to things and we don't realize why we're reacting, but
Mhm.
it's in our subconscious, these shadow things that we have to work on.
Yeah, it is because we came in as these beautiful light beings, these high vibrational frequencies that when that the God source creator frequency doesn't have these traumas, doesn't have the abuse or the fear or grudges or lineage, doesn't have that. So when we come in, we're there, and then we slowly learn in this 3D reality that it's kind of it's really hard here, but there's a reason. It's like the biggest mission ever is this has not happened in the history of planet Earth where all of enough consciousness is shifting those lower
Mm.
timelines that got out of balance. And
Amen, sister.
I know, I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. It's exciting times, but it is hard. It
Yes.
is not easy, that's for sure. So, yeah, so that's what I wrote down, like just all of what we just talked about, the looping, negative thoughts, old stories. We really do need to reprogram our thoughts and belief systems. And so I'm a big advocate of the positive affirmations. I know you are too. Yeah, just like even if we have to do it, if I have to do it, which I've done all day long, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am I am meant to be here at this time. Nothing is allowed in my space but light and love. I have nothing here but love, so it's just whatever works for you. It's like do these positive affirmations. But the body also is our communicator. So it doesn't mean that the body is failing if there is something going wrong in the body. This is, I think, what our point is because when things are out of balance emotionally and energetically, it affects our energy field and then they'll affect the body. And then our body is communicating with us like, hey, something's out of balance. If you have a sore shoulder or even so, like lower back pain or sciatica or anything, even to the extreme of cancer. These are your body is letting you know something's out of balance.
Right.
And to get it back into balance with changing those old patterns, belief systems, clear and heal those, yeah, like the shadow work, the traumas usually happens when we're little, when we came in innocent and in our original vibration and then slowly gets traumatized. So we got to go and heal that timeline. So even though we see it as the past, it's actually not because it's still happening. So if it's still affecting you in this now moment, like if something's happening in the body and or you get tense when you think about what happened as a child, that energy is still alive on that timeline. So that's why it's so important to do that inner child work. Um,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Something you just brought up. Well, there's a couple of things you just brought up is first of all about the to change the pattern of the way we think about ourselves and our
Hmm.
bodies. That pattern of self-negative talk absolutely has to be eliminated, and it's a matter and it's a habit. It's a habit
Hmm.
of thinking. So we do need to, every time we can catch ourselves looking in the mirror maybe and saying, "Oh, I don't like the way I look," change it, flip it, and say,
Absolutely.
I am working on this and looking better every day, making better choices or
Hmm.
whatever. There's so many origins of of course, emotional wounds, or like you were talking about, emotional traumas, but
Hmm.
mentally, we're born into cultures, we're born into families that have religious beliefs, we have familial beliefs about the way you should behave, and so forth. And so
Hmm.
it's something to really look at. Where did certain attitudes that I have originate? Is this really the way I think, or is this something I've just inherited?
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, no, good point. And that's the work, is trying to figure out where the core of it started. And that's what you and I do. So we go in and we see where is this loop, this trauma loop, or this lineage loop that isn't serving me in this now? Where did it start? And that's part of doing the shadow work. So you find out where that is coming from and doing that's why it is so important to do those positive affirmations, but absolutely don't let those negative thoughts. My guides told me there's no final destination with the
Mhm.
inner work that's going to be done, but we do have those times that it's the dark night of the soul where it's just really freaking hard and you're having to really process a really big thing, and then we have the
Mhm.
littler ones that we're gonna just have to keep expanding as as a soul and a human here. But the bigger ones, it's just important not to even let those negative thoughts come in. You say no thank you. Maybe you had your purpose at one time, but you're no longer allowed to give me your input, and you replace it immediately with a pause, even if you don't believe it. It doesn't matter. You just, no, thank you. You're not allowed here anymore. I mean, I've even said the F word, F off. My energy field is my energy field, and you are not allowed in here to bring it down or make me feel sad or in a weakened state. Like, we're done with that. And, and then replace it. I am powerful. I am amazing. I am healthy. My body knows what to do to balance back into our homeostasis self, which it does. The body
Mhm.
wants to heal.
Mhm.
That's why it's our biggest communicator when something's out of balance. Everything is energy
Right.
and frequency. So that's exciting to know this and how can be easy.
Uh, and I think we mentioned it last time, the new Harvard study that's out that says
Mhm.
talking to yourself in a positive way and talking to your body about what you are requiring for excellent health has a more positive outcome than taking medications.
I
And we
love
will
it.
go into medications, but we do know that they're not natural, and we are all our energy, and energy is the most powerful medicine we have, whether
Yeah.
it's from inside of us and our own consciousness, or like behind you, beautiful energy of nature, being out in Mother Earth's nature is so healing. Her
It's
frequency.
so yes, because that's what it is. It's the God source creator frequency, is nature. That is a frequency for that we align with, that we can feel as our true selves when we go out there and connect with our heart and our higher self. And it literally, this is science, is that it actually does heal the body to be out
Correct.
in nature. So it
Especially
literally,
barefoot.
yeah, especially barefoot if you can, which I go way out in the woods. So I will take my shoes off and put my feet in the like the creek. And so yes, but it literally physically will lower blood sugar. It will blood pressure. It will reset the nervous system and bring it back into balance. Just so many. I just did a little video on that. So it's, I listed everything that it literally heals in the body. Nature, just going out in nature, big dose of nature. And if you can, yeah, step away from the prescriptions, it's not natural. And so that is a lower frequency. So when we put lower frequencies in our body, and if we haven't done the inner work or healed things that we just talked about, then that's going to lower the frequency and keep us stuck in more of the 3D of where it's out of balance with, I don't think there should be that much darkness. I think it got out of balance, so we're here to bring it back into balance.
I think there's a movie. Well, I know the movie. I think it's named Earthing,
Oh, okay.
if
Yeah.
not Earthing, Grounding. And it's
Mm-hmm.
all about, it's an actual documentary about this small, tiny little place, I think in Alaska,
Okay.
that they started. I got distracted. I just saw a squirrel on a branch in the tree out here.
Girl.
A squirrel.
Girl. In the
And
same
now
way.
he's
That's
looking
what,
at me.
oh, what's that? I know, because I can see outside my window too. I'm
Yeah.
like, don't look out there, Jay. There's like birds and yeah.
Yeah. And it's an amazing documentary about how one person healed his back pain. And
Mm,
then he was uh, it was so successful with people that had chronic illnesses in town that the
yeah.
next thing you know, they're all grounding. They're all sticking these wires into the ground and running them up to their
Oh,
beds at night. And they would run wires up from the ground up to plants, and a plant that was grounded would just grow and bloom, and the one next to it that wasn't wouldn't. And it
oh
was
my.
showing, it's an amazing documentary. I should
Wow,
have.
I'm gonna have to watch that because that like literally shows you that that's frequency. So
Right.
we're taking the frequency, yeah, of Mother Earth, and which there's a mat that I have actually. It's a PEMF mat, and it is the same. It's the frequencies of Mother Earth. So you can lay on it. You can put your feet on the pillow like you're
Mhm.
grounding. Although the best place is to actually get out there. But if you can't, and say you live in a city and just can't get away, then this mat helps you with that. It is so important to get our feet on the ground.
Getting back to mental attitudes and emotions that really have an effect on us and have an effect on keeping our frequency down,
Mm-hmm.
where we want to get rid of some of these lower negative energies so that we can be open to receiving more high frequency
Mm-hmm.
energies. And we're talking about our own higher consciousness that
Yeah.
enables us to communicate with our higher consciousness, our higher self, our guides. What would you say that you've seen in your work that's a prevalent attitude that's needs to be healed first?
It's trusting and believing. Like it's trusting the knowing of who you really are. Because when you step into that knowing, it automatically puts you into your original frequency of God source creator. So that's why all this work is so important. of healing the childhood traumas, the lineage, the negative thoughts, the all of that, and just peeling that away and just really trusting and knowing who you really are, which is a sparkle of God's source. And aligning with that and the knowing, it puts you at this, like, when you are aligned and you do know it and trust it, it creates this neutrality, that 0 point of at ease, peaceful feeling. And that puts you at that frequency where then nothing can get into your energy field. Because when you know that you are God source creator, sparkle of God source creator, and you are love, and you connect to that, like nothing else matters. And then nothing else can get into that light. So those negative thoughts can't even get close to coming in. Or entities, which we haven't talked, like that's the lineage. So there are entities in the other realms that could just be a wounded ancestor. Doesn't have to be evil or really, really dark, which some of them are, but a lot of them are just lost souls. Like when they pass, they didn't quite know where to go. And so they're
Oh,
just hanging around and can influence our energy field and then our thoughts because they're still trying to work out their stuff through you.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so when we can understand that, you can release, like, oh, you know what? You are loved. You're not part of my realm anymore. And I need to go through my own path. I need to walk my own path. You need to go back with God source creator. And then, like I just said, there's darker entities that can really get in there and try to manipulate darker thoughts, because these thoughts, these negative thoughts, are not who we really are. So that's what you have to say. And you can ask, is this mine? Is this my true thought to who I
Right.
really am, with
Mhm.
love and Jesus' name? Because I'll say that too, because I love Jesus, and so because it's that Jesus is that frequency of love.
Right. Christ consciousness.
It's
Yeah.
Christ consciousness.
Uh-huh.
Your intuition will have a response. You will feel, you'll just know, you'll feel this gentle response, or there won't be any response. And then you can say, well, you're not welcome here. So you need to stay out of my space with love and go back to source. Or I send them to a rehabilitation station out, way out in the way quadrant of the galaxy, where there's a reform for lost souls that have fallen, that aren't totally of the light, and they can wait there and try to reform and go back with source.
Now, these entities, or they could be all kinds of different energies of extraterrestrials, humans, different kinds of
Mm-hmm.
entities in the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them could just randomly try and be attracted to your light and influence your field. But some of them have been previously attached to could have been attached to one of your ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we are perfectly capable of breaking contracts that our ancestors made, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they're not allowed to come on down through the lineage and affect us.
Correct. Yeah,
So I know
absolutely.
you work on that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, we go in, and anyone can do this, but it's also
Mhm.
nice to have help when someone else can see, like, oh, yeah, I'm seeing that this has got passed to mother, great great grandmother to mother to great, but it doesn't serve. Like, a big one is the squashing of the divine feminine. So there's like
Oh,
an energy. It's just this dark, wounded masculine, darker entity that will go through a lot of the female lineage. And so it's releasing that, and it will lift a lot of stuff that
wow. Wow.
someone might be
Yeah.
experiencing in this
Mhm.
now moment. That's just an example, but there might be other ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
contract, that was good. You just said that too. So and you can do, if you can't pinpoint something, just release all contracts that don't serve you in this now, with even parents, or anybody even in this life, and then lineage or in past lives. Like, it's just say, whatever contract that is not serving me for my highest good in this now, I'm burning and releasing it.
And we have people that will cord into us, into our chakras, into our heart that we may have had dealings with. And we don't need to have anyone corded into us,
Mm-mm.
our children, partners. But
Yeah.
other than that, no. When you do have clients, when you're working with people, it is important to sever those ties after the session for their good and for our good.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you can go in and cut cords for other people with their contracts, and anything that isn't serving somebody in that now is like, that isn't allowed in there, cut that cord. It's just important to have a strong energy field, and you create that sacred space for somebody when, yeah, when you're working with them. When someone's done their inner work, their shadow work, their energy field, our energy field is solid, so which is frequency. So there's nothing can get in because we're at a different frequency. We have no thoughts of the lower energies or the traumas in the knowing. So it's a knowing. So that's how I explain things too. So it's just like, for sure that you are wearing purple, or that that you have brown eyes. That's like, feel that knowing. And so we want to feel that when we want to align with the higher timeline. Like, I know that my energy field is solid and nothing's getting in. Like, just like I know I have blue eyes. And not to say that it can get weakened, and it does. And then I have to do extra energy work, extra clearing, like you said, cut the cords, sage, Palo Santo, crystals, like all of it.
Well, when we're first learning, like 25 years ago,
Yeah.
my mother, God rest her soul, she's
Oh.
passed on the other side quite a long time ago now, but
Mm,
towards the end of her life, when she had been a widow for quite some time and she was more or less housebound by her physical issues, she started to get very negative. And when I would go to visit her and spend the weekend with her, I started noticing that would get the worst headaches.
mm-hmm.
And she didn't realize what she was doing, but it was almost vampiric. She was feeding off of my energy, and she had so much negativity in her own field that
Mm-hmm.
I would just get these headaches where I had to start vegging out, like detach from her. And at the time, it took me a little while before I realized, oh, this is what's going on. This is why I'm getting this really bad headache sitting in the living room with her. And sometimes we just be watching TV together. And
Mm-hmm.
and so these are things that I think that we can all become aware of is how does the energy of other people affect you? If you walk away or you leave the person and you feel drained or you have a
Mm-hmm.
headache or low energy, just like you want to go home and lay on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good sign.
No, oh my gosh, such a good point. Because that can happen with our family members,
Right.
and especially our mom, the mom daughter. And some of them are, some moms are very deliberate and know that they're, manipulate, they're like maybe narcissists, but then you do have the moms that don't know, or family member that don't know that their energy is being manipulated. That's why there's such negativity. She's stuck in a loop. And then there's lineage happening on her, and then it just creates this more negative energy field. So I see this a lot. So then her higher self is trying to remedy it, so but not knowing how. So then it'll try to latch on to other, especially the closest daughter. There's a closeness with the mother daughter, and so she's trying to find relief
Right.
from it. And that's like subconscious, that's energetic. Yeah,
Right.
that's why it feels like vampiric, because it's draining, because she's trying to find relief from that heavy energy that she's trying to figure out. And we weren't taught, especially our mom's generations.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the one of the best ways to clear energy between people is laughter, humor, laughter. When you get together and things are just getting too serious, or
Yeah,
make a joke, find something to
totally.
laugh about, and it automatically just breaks through the negativity and raises the frequency.
It does. Yeah. So laugh, but also just claim your space.
Mhm.
That's so I just am always like claim your space wherever, like nothing is allowed in my space but love. I am love. And so my energy field is strong, and whatever is going to try to get in that I'm not even aware of is not allowed in. These are the reprogramming. So I'm saying
Right.
that as like that's what I tell myself when I'm around people like you just mentioned. And one of them is my mom. So she's very similar to, and I love her. She's like, but she's very in a very negative my whole life. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've gone through all the phases of like frustration or just unconditional love, guilt, like every single emotion you can have. And now I'm good with her because I'm like, okay, that's her. And that's the other thing is like, that's their path. When you
Right.
just have love in your heart, that's their journey for their spiritual awakening or expansion. And it's just through that experience. It has nothing to do with me. And so when we can figure that out, then it can lighten up and get us back into balance.
I think that contrary to some people that say everything is a mirror of something within yourself, well, I
Mhm.
think that's true in a
Mhm.
huge amount of cases, but in other cases, it's a lesson in discernment to know
Mhm.
what is your lesson, what is their lesson, what's your energy, what's their energy,
Yeah.
and learning how to work with it. And
Yeah.
fortunately, I think in the future that children are going to be taught how to discern
Yeah.
and to work with their own energies and other people's energies and Mother Nature's energies. That's what I've been shown. It's going to be great. These are things, when I was given a vision of this, these kids were like in elementary school, outside and being taught how to work with nature's energies
Yeah.
and bringing down their own higher consciousness into
Mhm.
their bodies. It was like out of this world. If we would have had the opportunity to learn about that when we were young, wow.
I love that. Well, I mean, that's why we're here is because we're bringing it back into balance
Right.
because it should be that way.
It
That's
will
what
be.
that's
Right.
it, and it will be. And I feel like a lot of families and who are I'm sure there's some of you watching right now that you are teaching your kids that. So good job. You're, allowing them to be who they are and you're nurturing their being, and that's all that's important.
Mhm.
Like being here is school. We got tricked into this whole other false system. And so I really feel there's a movement of a lot of parents out there that are nurturing their kids, just like you're seeing, like your vision is already happening. So, and
Right.
then it'll just be on that large scale. Yeah, it's so exciting.
Yes, because
Yeah.
the children bring in the higher consciousness
Mhm.
with their birth, and there's a lot of them coming in, and
Yeah.
it's difficult for them to come into this lower 3D frequency,
Mhm.
but we're gonna make it. It's great. I'm excited about our future.
Told me too. This is the key. It's not, so there's nothing to wait for because it's all within the self. And that's
Right.
why that's why all this that we just talked about is so important of clearing grudges, resentments, anger, fear, old trauma loops, old stories, old self. The more that we're all doing that, that creates the new timeline. So it's like it's the frequency, not that we're creating it. Maybe that's like it's already there. And
Mhm.
so enough of us are vibrating back into
Mhm.
the original timeline of God source creator.
And maybe some people are saying, well, how do I recognize? How how do I go about doing the work, the inner work, and
Yeah.
finding what I need to change. Emotionally, you might look at what disturbs me, what irritates me, what bothers me or makes me most sad.
Mhm.
What is emotionally the most upsetting? And that
Yeah.
might be the place to start and try and trace it back to where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, if it happened in childhood,
Mm-hmm.
then you can look at it now from an adult perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can look at if it was from parents or situations at school or whatever it was, you can look at it and understand it, looking at it from an objective point of view. And whatever it was, and try and understand it. See, you don't need to hang on to the hurt, the trauma, those wounds anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
just tell yourself, it's a matter of telling yourself, I don't need to carry this with me anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
release it
Mm-hmm.
to source, God, whoever you want to release it to, your higher consciousness,
Yeah.
and ask, have your higher energies come in for healing. I release what I no longer need, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
bringing in the energies that I do need to keep me on my highest timeline. And
Mm-hmm.
and say I am doing what I need to do to
Mm-hmm.
stay on my highest timeline.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. So just that step right there is like so important. And then if you need extra help, find somebody that can help with you work through like tougher traumas.
Right.
'Cause I know there's some really, and I just my heart and my just you guys were the biggest warriors that had to go through like childhood abuse, from adults, like physical. I always say you guys are the biggest warriors on the front line to conquer the darkness. But if you're having difficulty like really releasing that, like I would say find somebody that knows how to work with that type of abuse and the inner child work and listen to other people that have healed through those kind of traumas as well, because they're out there. There's these amazing
Oh, yeah.
stories, yeah, that they've been through. I've actually had several really good friends that have healed major childhood abuse. So I know there's like really, those kind of cases. I just want to bring attention to that so we're not like light and love because that's what
Right,
I'm always
right.
saying, light and love,
Yeah.
like clear it, like
Yeah.
yes, we know that there's so much difficulty and
It's
challenge.
deep, very
It's
deep.
deep. Yeah.
And
And
if you need to just cry it out, just ugly cry, bawling and screaming and yelling, do it, because that's another form of release. It would be great if all you had to do was say, I release this and it's gone.
yeah.
But usually it takes more than that. Usually it
Yeah.
can take crying and screaming, and
Yeah.
there's a whole, you're holding it physically inside, and sometimes it takes a physical release to let it out.
Totally. Absolutely. Because I'll see that too with people that will have worked on it. Like, oh, I thought I healed that. So we can have, I call them echoes, or the body is remembering from an echo frequency, even though we've like, wait a minute, I've already healed that. I went through all the process, I released it, I felt really good, but yet something can trigger it and then it's like what, so it's working like that is perfect, like scream it out, do things that are really nurturing to the body, and then say the affirmation with it, like I am truly releasing that, I have a purpose here, I'm my mission, really everybody's biggest mission that I've seen is to squash out the dark ones. They're no longer able to, I guess, work on it. Like they're no longer welcome in our reality, on our
Right.
frequency. And so that's what our biggest mission is to go, oh no, we're not participating in that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're having this split. which I love because Dolores Cannon explains it. Laura explains it, this bifurcation that happens. Like there's a lot of people that have seen this, enough consciousness. Like when we mentioned Jesus earlier, he was here to do that at that time also, was to do what we're doing, is to break free from the false, inverted, really negative timeline that we got kind of tricked into. But I feel we were aware before coming in of what we
Uh-huh.
were going to be
Yeah.
tackling. And it
Mhm.
doesn't excuse the major abuse that some of you light workers went into, but that's why I say you're the biggest warriors, because you went into that family to transmute the darkness. So
Mhm.
just know you're doing the healing work.
Right.
Um,
And that's
drugs.
that's
Yeah.
why, when you are able to heal and release emotional and mental baggage of one kind or another, you feel so much lighter. You feel freer. And when you were like what you were talking about, when you're operating from your authentic self, just you,
Mhm.
how you really feel, not how you think you should feel or what
Mhm.
people tell you. And when you really trust your own inner voice, your own intuition, you've regained sovereignty. And
Yeah.
that's a good feeling.
Oh, it really is. And that's your true nature. That's so I've done the trauma work for myself, for all my, what I went through my life. And now I'm like, oh, did the inner child, all my major traumas that were affecting me. I mean, they don't anymore. Because I mean, it was years ago that I really really cleared it because my guides luckily, thankfully, I have a like strong connection with my higher self and guides. So they've helped me through that and helped me see that that was part of the mission, and that's part of my spiritual growth of going through that. And then now it's just a memory because I know it's not who I really am. This is just a body that I'm using for a short period here on planet Earth. But it's not who I really am, which is a sparkle of source that is like love. And so I'm so grateful to be here.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we're really bringing up these different topics because we know that the payoff, not only feeling emotionally and mentally better and physically better, because
Hmm.
you're clearing so much negative, lower frequency energy out of your field that it's a great payoff for you.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah. It is an amazing payoff because then really amazing things start happening. So because so not only does the body communicate, but like if we're holding on to stuff, if we're trauma looping or old stories or it shows up in our life. Like it
Right.
shows up with things that are manifesting in every section of our reality. So that's what shifts also. Things start flowing, your dreams start like really unfolding, like things start coming to you when you clear out everything that we just went through.
Now, is there anything that you can think of that we haven't talked about? I'm looking at my notes because it is a big topic.
So, some other ways that you can heal out there is sound therapy. So, how do we bring our frequency up? How do we release
Mhm.
tightness in the body? Because maybe we don't know where it's coming from. Maybe we can't tune in with the lineage or where's the core of it. So, sound therapy can really help release that. So, if you're focused, if you listen to really healing sounds like the singing bowls or the 432 hertz.
All those Sophaggio
Mhm.
frequencies
Yeah, the
are really good.
Savaggio frequencies
Yeah.
it literally just brings your energy field, and it jolts memory too of your original being, of
Mhm.
your true essence. So sound therapy, of course, and then we talked about being out in nature. That
Mhm.
is the frequency of the higher timeline. That's why it feels so good to be out there in nature. And I have a favorite place that I go to where I live, but when I would go there on the weekends, it would be so packed. I'm like, oh my God, well, I just can't even go out there today. But 2 weekends ago, packed. And I was like, that's okay. I'm gonna go out there. And I just felt, I was like, this is what we're telling people to go do, like go be out in nature. Especially my favorite place, there's a frequency in there that is super healing. And I'm like, this is amazing. All these people are, and from all walks of life. Like I saw teenager groups, I saw tourists from other countries, I saw,
Ooh.
like just every walk of life. My point is, as I was just grateful that all these people are knowing to go get out in nature instead of be
Oh.
really annoyed like I was probably about, I don't know, a few months ago. That's when I had to, like really work on myself and get myself back into clarity. So, anyways, this clarity brought in just more gratefulness and
And
appreciation.
I'm glad you brought that up because there are so many strong energies coming in now, and they
Mhm.
could be the CMEs, the solar energies that affect people in different ways. If you're trying to really do the spiritual work or become a better person, these energies are wonderful. They're like the
Mhm.
wind beneath your wings to really help you get into yourself. And guided meditations can help you
Mhm.
with that as well. But the frequencies, the energies can also have an irritating effect on others
Yeah.
and bring up their programming.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be able to look at people that are having different reactions like this to right
Mhm.
now globally there's so much going on with these
Mhm.
energies, political divisions, also the weather, extreme
Mhm.
weather,
Which is
volcanoes, earthquakes. There's
all.
so much going on with energies
Mhm.
right now that the best thing that we can really do is center on ourselves, make
Mhm.
ourselves try and work on ourselves to be the best people we can be. Because as we do the inner work, we are affecting energetically the collective consciousness. We're affecting everyone that's intimately involved with this, our family and our friends, and we have a good energetic effect on them.
It is really important. That is happening in the false timeline. Weather manipulation, politics, everything, division, and everything is fake now. We can't believe anything. I mean, except for the
Right.
weather. Like, so when we know family member or have friends or whatever that are in those areas, but everything is so can just look real and it's not. It's the AI that is like, so we have to really, really discern on what we're watching. So my guides have always told me this, even throughout my life of when they would do the same old playbook. Oh, crazy, this is happening or this is happening. And they would say, this is not part of your reality. Stay focused. And
Oh,
so I'm
yes.
glad
Yeah.
you, yeah, brought that up because that's what we're talking about. This is the bifurcation, that it is all about our consciousness. And if we're believing or or getting riled up or angry because this is happening, well, then you're aligning your consciousness with the false 3D. We're able to see it. That's why it's confusing for us humans. It's like, well, I can see it. It's in my reality. No, it's not. I see it like these clear glass walls. So we can see it, but I'm not going to participate. I'm staying in my neutral place and I'm not going to give it energy. And like you said, just keep focusing on your inner healing, what is going to bring joy to your reality and your timeline.
And then I have to bring into this conversation the
Hmm.
fact that there are people that is their job in this lifetime. And you know
Hmm.
what I'm going to say, to be boots on the ground and
Yeah.
be down there and breaking up, trying to break up all that 3D false narrative. And
Yeah.
those people are very much involved with looking at the divisions and the polarity and everything that's going on, all the
Yeah.
false narratives. For you and I, and for so many of probably of our viewers, I really have to keep coming
Hmm.
back to neutrality,
Yeah.
to walking that middle path,
Hmm.
to be an observer
Yeah.
and yet not be in Caesar's world, but not of Caesar's world. To watch it, but not
Hmm.
let it affect me. Because there's a lot of us where our job is actually creating the pathway for others
Hmm.
to be able to access their own higher consciousness in an
Hmm.
easier way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point too. So those people that you're talking about with boots on the ground, they are walking their path. They are following through with their mission. They have this passion that they're not fearful. They're warriors. So they know what to do with boots on the ground. It's not rainbows and unicorns. Oh, my head's in the sand. That's not happening. No, like
No,
there are boots on the ground warriors that are because there's this burning passion within them. I know that's not mine. I need to hold my space. That's
right,
what, so that is not because if something is going to create stress or fear or anger and you get out of balance and then everything snowballs into like unhappiness, like like oh, nothing's going right in my life because I'm so stressed with, then that's not you.
mhm,
That's like, okay, that is time to focus on self. What do you want to create? What is your passion? What is your mission? I tell everybody and I'll tell people over and over, watch the Celestine Prophecy movie. You have to order on Amazon. They used to play for, but they don't. But it literally shows you, the book was written, Celestine Prophecy, back in the 70s. They made a movie. It shows you the difference between connecting with the higher frequency, that with nature, and just being in that consciousness where that the reality doesn't have darkness. It's an amazing movie because we are literally going through that right now. So it matters where you're placing, because you don't want to have fear or anything like that, or anger that's happening in that duel, because then that'll just pull you right in.
right.
And
We obviously, we're not saying it's all love and light. It is
right.
not all love and light. And that's what we're talking about. We need to work on clearing and healing the parts that are holding us down, and
Hmm.
we can observe what's going on in the world and but not let it affect us. Now, an example of that would be back when the pipeline that was going through the Indian.
Yeah, years ago, but it was something rock, and I had friends
Yeah,
that went there. Sorry,
and
sorry to
I
talk about
watched
it.
that daily and
Yeah.
was so outraged, and I
Hmm.
started getting back pain, low back pain.
Hmm.
And it was getting worse and worse and worse. And finally, in meditation, my guide said, okay, this is because you're taking on all of this negative energy of the injustice and your
Hmm.
outrage and, everything that's going on. You're taking it in and then holding it in the cells of your low back.
Right.
And so we released it and
Good.
never had a bit of back pain after that. It was a huge
Good.
lesson for me. And
Yeah.
about how we can affect our own physical self
Hmm.
with pain by what we choose to hold on to. And like another one is fear. I have a friend
Hmm.
who, when she gets fearful, she always gets kidney pain.
Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah, no, that's like exactly what we're talking about. So, and if that, and it doesn't mean we're not in the fight or don't care that is happening, the injustice, which just the way that we're going to heal it or handle it is different than being right there on the front lines of
Right.
protesting, and definitely stressing about it or getting outraged is not going to work. What does work is going in, and that's how I go in and help balance things out, is through, I'm in the quantum space. That's just how
Mhm.
what I do, how I balance things out is in the other realms.
Right.
And I know that's what you do too. And other people are amazing that are on the front lines, and they know that that's their passion. They're driven to be there. That's a good example of how something can manifest in the body.
We come in as these beautiful, perfect fractals of source
Mhm.
God energy.
Yeah.
And we know perfectly well when we're coming in that we're going to go through a a stage of forgetfulness.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come into this incarnation with family and cultural, religious, all of these ideologies and
Mm-hmm.
things that we have to basically unlearn because they're not our true selves. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not to say it's all bad. We can take the good stuff and but release the bad stuff. And our whole goal is just to get back to who we really are, our authentic selves, being a sovereign being, being releasing all the negative energies that we're holding on to so that we can truly embody our higher consciousness and
Mm-hmm.
be in constant communication with our higher self, with our spiritual team.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you are, and my crown chakra is activating right now, you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to do long, lengthy meditations because you're always right there.
Right.
All you have to do is make the intention to tune in and listen to what they want to tell you or bring in your higher consciousness. And
Mm-hmm.
so we hope that this will inspire you even
Mm-hmm.
more because
Yeah.
probably people watching this
Yeah.
are already on your path. And there's so
Mhm.
many books and movies and
Oh man,
podcasts and things like this to help you
I'll
out.
with you.
And
Yeah.
you can do it. I mean, we've all been there in this
Right.
lifetime, just working on getting back to who we really are.
Totally. Oh, that's beautiful. And another, yeah, I love that, like watching. So what I like to go watch, because I just fills me up and makes me feel good and puts me in the higher frequencies are the NDEs, the near-death experiencers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're at their home. I remember home. I think we all do. The
Just
NDEs, they are really uplifting. It just reminds you that this is just temporary where we're at, and we are making a difference. Every single one of you is making a difference being here
mhm.
and going through what you're going through.
And so many of the people that come back from the other side come back with special new
Yep.
reactivated abilities. Like I
Well,
interviewed
everyone, pretty much. Yeah.
Ellen Weir. She's a woman I've interviewed a couple of times now.
Okay.
She got kicked in the head by a horse when she was 12.
God.
And she had an NDE. And she said what pulled her back was music. The music was literally pulling her back
Oh,
into her body. And
uh,
now she can feel the vibration of music. And she
yeah.
uses that as a sound healer. Isn't that
Amazing.
amazing?
That's amazing. So that's what we were saying, sound healing. It is powerful. Oh, what a beautiful story. Yeah, so she came back with that gift to it's all about helping. We're here to be of service, and that's what we're doing is helping you out there get tools to make your life or path or mission just a little bit easier.
Right. Because, boy, I tell you, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was nothing when I was finding
Right.
my way.
Right.
And I went to every hippie bookstore you can imagine. Look, I went down so many paths that if I can save you a little time, I'm here for you.
Exactly.
I'm so grateful for you, Jemaa, and
Me
I'm
too.
so grateful for all of the people out there that are just doing their best to raise the frequency on our planet right now. It's wonderful. And as we all embody more of our higher consciousness, that's what we're doing. We're raising the frequency back to where it needs to be.
Another, that can help is herbs, of course, because I'm
Oh,
passionate
yes.
about herbs. So, like teas, tinctures, just to help with the physical body. So, find yourself some good herbs, whether it's for nervous system or strengthening your organs, all of that. The plant kingdom is the frequency also. So, that's
Of
why herbs are so
nature. Yeah.
nature. So that's why herbs, they are here to help raise our frequency through healing ailments in the body.
Okay, my
All
love.
right.
Thank you
So,
so
yes, thank
much.
you. Lots of
Um,
love to everybody out there and
yes.
such a pleasure. And we'll see you on our third video because we're going to do a part 3, right? So stay
We
tuned
were
for our part
thinking that
three.
the next one will be techniques to actually connect to your higher self. I was thinking maybe we could even do a meditation.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, cool.
So that'll be part three coming up
Part
soon, I
three.
hope.
Yes.
Okay, my love.
Okay.
We love you all.
Lots of
You
love.
have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.